Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 18th chapter, text number 35. Krishne gate Bhagavati Shastaryutpathagamina Tadbinna setun adyaham Shasmi pashyatame balam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. After the departure of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead and supreme ruler of everyone, these upstarts have flourished, our protector being gone. Therefore, I myself shall take up this matter and punish them. Just witness my power. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The inexperienced Brahmana, puffed up by a little Brahma Tejas, became influenced by the spell of Kali Yuga. Maharaj Parikshit gave license to Kali to live in 4 places as mentioned herein before, but by his very expert government, the personality of Kali could hardly find the places allotted him. The personality of Kali Yuga therefore was seeking the opportunity to establish authority, and by the grace of the Lord he found a hole in the puffed up, inexperienced son of a Brahmana. The little Brahmana wanted to show his prowess in destruction, and he had the audacity to punish such a great king as Maharaj Parikshit. He wanted to take the place of Lord Krishna after his departure. These are the principal signs of upstarts who want to take the place of Sri Krishna under the influence of the age of Kali. An upstart with a little power wants to become an incarnation of the Lord. There are many false incarnations after the departure of Lord Krishna from the face of the globe, and they are misleading the innocent public by accepting the spiritual obedience of the general mass of people to maintain false prestige. In other words, the personality of Kali got the opportunity to reign through this son of a Brahmana, Shringi. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Hare Krishna. So the context here in today's verse is, we are towards the end of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, and first canto is more or less continuation of the great epic Mahabharata. So Mahabharata, we know the end of Mahabharata is the battle of Kurukshetra gets concluded, and then Pandavas become victorious over the Kauravas, and Kauravas are all killed, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, being the eldest among the Pandavas, he is enthroned as the emperor of the whole world. And then Parikshit Maharaj is also born because he happened to be the only surviving descendant of Pandavas. Pandavas, because Arjuna's son was Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu had died in the battlefield, and then Abhimanyu's son was this Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was also supposed to die because of Ashwatthama's Brahmastra, but Lord Krishna had saved him by entering the womb of Mother Uttara, and Parikshit Maharaj was always looking for that person whom he had seen in mother's womb. So that is why his name is Parikshit, means he is examining everybody whom, whether that person whom he saw in the womb of his mother, whether is this the same person, Krishna. So like that, Parikshit Maharaj was a great pure devotee of the Lord, and he was a prince, and then he gets fully trained under the Pandavas' tutelage, and then he was enthroned as the emperor of Hastinapur, means the emperor of Hastinapur meaning, and he is the actually ruler of the entire world, entire planet Earth. Such a responsible position he was put into. And then he happens to one day tour his kingdom, and then what happens, we have seen that in the past he comes across the personality of Kali, who was beating a cow and bull, and then he was about to kill Kali, but surrenders to him. And then Kali, also being a citizen of his kingdom, because his kingdom is everywhere, entire planet Earth, so he requests for 4 places. So those 4 places are places where meat eating, gambling, illicit sex and intoxication, these activities are being conducted. Those places were allotted. So in today's purport also Prabhupada says that earlier The inexperienced Brahmana, puffed up by little Brahma Tejas, became influenced by the spell of Kali Yuga. Maharaj Parikshit gave license to Kali to live in 4 places as mentioned herein before, but by his very expert government, the personality of Kali could hardly find the places allotted to him. Therefore, the personality of Kali was seeking the opportunity to establish authority, and by the grace of the Lord, he found a hole in the puffed up, inexperienced son of a Brahmana. So this Kali was always waiting for a chance to create his influence, and he was targeting who could be the best person to have influence upon. Who is the king himself, Parikshit himself. So if Parikshit somehow comes under the influence of Kali, then naturally entire his kingdom, his followers, everybody would come under his influence also. So he was always targeting, and one day it so happened that Parikshit Maharaj, because they were Kshatriyas, they were going on hunting, and then it was a very special occasion on that particular fateful day, that although he could make his own arrangements in the forest when he goes, he requires water, he would have his assistants, his soldiers, ministers accompanying him. But although in that particular day, he felt so thirsty and hungry and fatigued and tired that he wanted to have some water immediately and take some rest, have some shelter. So he happens to come across this sage's ashrama called Shamika Rishi. And then because this sage, great sage Shamika Rishi, he was in trance, he was meditating upon the Supreme Lord. He did not realize what was happening surrounding him. So Parikshit Maharaj was surprised, was taken back by this kind of reception by the sage. Although he did not expect great hospitality befitting a royal order or anything like that, but just the Vedic etiquette says that simple offerings such as water, some fruits, some place to sit, asan, something had to be given. But Parikshit Maharaj, this is also under the influence of the Supreme Lord, because first of all, Parikshit Maharaj actually he would go with himself preparing for water and basic such amenities. That also what didn't happen that day. And after coming in touch with the sage's ashram, he was not properly received well also. And then Parikshit gets angry, and there was a dead snake nearby. He puts that particular dead snake on the shoulders of this meditating sage, Shamika Rishi, and then he just walks away. And this sage's son, this Brahmana's son, it's called here Shringi, inexperienced Brahmana boy, Shringi. He was playing nearby, and then when he comes back to his house, he sees that father, has been mistreated like this, disrespected, although he was in meditation. And then he was so powerful, although he was a child. Prabhupada says here, the inexperienced Brahmana puffed up by a little Brahma Tejas. So Brahma Tejas, because Prabhupada is mentioning, he knew little about Brahminical power. He was also undergoing training, although he was a small child. He knew that, he in the later words of this boy himself, it is said that, yes, an upstart with a little power wants to become an incarnation of the Lord. There are many Prabhupada is saying here in the purport, the little Brahmana wanted to show his prowess in destruction, and he had the audacity to punish such a great king as Maharaj Parikshit. So this chapter is entitled, this Parikshit Maharaj cursed by this Brahmana boy. So in the very short next few verses, we will see how, this Shringi gets angry, and then he will curse Parikshit Maharaj. So in today's verse, so in previous just 1 or 2 verses before, so Shringi gets very much angry because he thinks himself a great Brahmana, although Brahmanas are supposed to be the heads of the society, they were supposed to guide even the Kshatriyas, but without knowing the position and the power of Parikshit Maharaj, he had the audacity to even disrespect such great king as Parikshit Maharaj. So he starts blaspheming him, he starts comparing him to watchdogs, and then, just like dogs are supposed to be very, very faithful to their masters. So similarly, he says, Kshatriyas, these kings, rulers, they were supposed to be very, very, like watchdogs. They are supposed to receive instructions from Brahmanas and rule accordingly. And then in today's verse, he says, Krishne gate bhagavati. So Krishna Gate Bhagavati. So Krishna had actually already departed to the spiritual world back, because that's how Kali Yuga started. And then he says, Shastari Utpata Gaminam. So Utpata Gaminam means of those who are upstarts. So now, because Lord has gone back to his own spiritual world, all these upstarts like King Parikshit, they have sprung up. And then Shastari means the supreme ruler, because Krishna is the supreme ruler, he is the supreme maintainer of this entire world. Because Krishna is gone back, there is no one to question him. So, kings like Parikshit Maharaj, they are actually showing up. And then Tadbinna Setum Adyaham. So then Setun means again protector. Lord is addressed as protector, because Lord was the protector. Lord is addressed as Go Brahmana Hitayacha. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitayacha. So Lord is always taking care, maintaining, protecting Brahmanas. And this Shringi, this boy is saying that because Lord has gone back, we don't have our protector. And King Parikshit was supposed to be our protector. What happens? He is not doing his duty. In other words, he is saying, instead of doing his duty, he has become an upstart. That's why Shasmi Pashyata Me Balam. So that is why what this Shringi is saying. So this Shringi is saying that because Krishna has gone back to his spiritual world now, I will take up Krishna's job. So Prabhupada is saying, the inexperienced Brahmana boy, puffed up by a little Brahma Tejas, became influenced by the spell of Kali Yuga. So he actually came under the influence of Kali, because Kali's influence is, it's the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, in the 16th chapter, 4th verse, the qualities of demons. So simple definition, actually Prabhupada also says in various places, what is the definition of a demigod and what is the definition of a demon, who is Devata and who is a Danava or Rakshasa. So Prabhupada says elsewhere also that Vishnu Bhaktas Bhaved Daiva Asuryastad Viparyaya. So Vishnu Bhakta, whoever is the devotee of the Lord, by default, he is actually servant of the Lord. He is considered to be devotee. And on the other end, whoever is non-devotee, they are actually considered to demons. So Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter 4th verse, the qualities of demons. That 16th chapter is entitled Divine and Demonic Qualities. So what are the nature, what are the characteristics? Just like Prabhupada mentions, characteristic of a particular chemical can be known by its odor or color, the kind of chemical reactions it undergoes with other elements. So that's how you characterize, this is how that element is considered. So similarly, persons with these kind of qualities, like what? Dambo Darpa Abhimanascha, Parushyam Ajnanam Evacha, and then Partha Sampadam Asurim. So Asurim Sampat. So everybody has got different kinds of wealth. Somebody have got divine wealth, someone else have got demonic wealth. So my dear Partha, Krishna is addressing Arjuna. So these people who are Damba and pride, Abhimana, who is seeking after material name, fame, honor, and Krodha, anger, always they are under the influence of anger because of the modes of passion and ignorance. Such people are actually Asurim Sampat. So they are actually having these Asuric qualities. So that's how this boy also, that is why Prabhupada is mentioning in today's third word, that this boy came under the influence or the spell of Kali. So this is how Kali gets an opportunity to influence this inexperienced Brahmana boy, and then he, later we will see in few verses that, he curses Parikshit Maharaj also. So Prabhupada said, so this little Brahmana wanted to show his prowess in destruction, and he had the audacity to even punish such a great king as Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj was a pure devotee right from his birth. Even before his birth in the mother's womb, he had darshan of the Lord. And such a great devotee gets cursed by this inexperienced Brahmana boy. So of course this was a special circumstance for the Bhagavatam to be spoken. So Lord had arranged this, and because of this influence of Kali, which is predominantly visible even in today's world, where a lot of hatred and lot of hypocrisy, a lot of quarrel is happening. We hear news that some places, some war is happening between Israel and different countries, Bangladesh, unrest. Few months back there was unrest in Sri Lanka. So like that, throughout the world in different places, these influences of Kali, we can see unrest is happening because of improper leaders, inefficient leaders, and who are actually under the influence of Kali. So that's how they are exhibiting these kind of demonic qualities, and they are, the common people are undergoing a lot of suffering. So we need protection. So just like on an individual basis also, today we have seen so many overload of information, the internet. So sometimes we keep reading some news, and that news will lead to something else, and that news will take us to some other news. So like that, so much of information. So we need protection on the personal basis, as well as we need protection overall, safeguarding humanity, safeguarding the globe. Prabhupada said in other places also, so anytime World War III may start, and there are so many nuclear weapons just to be waiting to be used in the warfare. And Krishna forbid something such things happen, a complete, mass destructions is just one step away, mass destruction. So such weapons are available in today's world. So we need protection, and so that is why we have to maintain our consciousness, our purity. We should not come under the influence. Just like we are using this laptop or mobile, we are very conscious. We are conscious that this battery is not fully drained out, isn't it? If suppose mobile gets fully discharged, then you cannot utilize for which the mobile has been manufactured. Similarly, if this laptop shuts down immediately because of lack of battery, then I cannot use this laptop anymore. So similarly, our soul, we should have this spiritual battery indicator, that how much spiritually I am charged, surcharged with spiritual knowledge, with spiritual concepts, with spiritual activities, so that otherwise we will get sucked into these material activities. Just like there's a game, kabaddi game also, right? So person who knows till where if I go, I can come back to the line, only to that extent he has to go. Otherwise, if he goes to the dead end of the other side, then he'll maybe never be able to come back, and he will get stuck. So similarly, all the activities, all the protection, all the spiritual activities what we do, the source is actually Sri Balaramji. So tomorrow, what is the special event? We have festival in a temple, appearance day of Lord Balaram. And then a week thereafter, what do we have? Sri Krishna Janmashtami, right? So Krishna and Balaram, they are being the supreme controllers. They are addressed today also. They are Shastari and Setun. Setun means the supreme protectors, and Shastari means the supreme rulers of this entire creation. So Krishna and Balaram, actually they are the in charge, they are the most merciful incarnations. So and their pastimes are also so much intertwined, so that we can relish by trying to listening to the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. We can also relish the pastimes of Balaram also. So let us try to quickly recollect how Krishna's appearance happened in this material world along with Lord Balaram. So it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita also that Balaram serves the Supreme Lord Krishna. So we see how Krishna was the king of Dwaraka, right? So he was the king, he was the ruler of Dwaraka. Although he is the Supreme Lord, he is the ruler of entire creation. He was specifically the ruler of that portion called Dwaraka. Today also we have that place, Dwaraka. And Balaram, actually it is said, he serves Krishna in 10 different ways. So it is said, Srila Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who is the composer of Chaitanya Charitamrita, so he also glorifies Balaram that no one else can serve better than Balaram, Supreme Lord. So he is the servitor Godhead. So Lord Balaram is the servitor Godhead. So he teaches by his own example how in different ways, how in every possible way, whatever possible way, we should serve the Supreme Lord. So for example, he lists out, he serves the Supreme Lord in 10 different ways. As friend, so Balaram serves Krishna as his friend, as his brother, as his bed. We see Ananta Shayana, Ananta Shesha. So that Shesha is actually expansion of Lord Balaram. And then as carrier, and residence of the Lord, where the Lord stays, that is also manifestation, expansion of Lord Balaram. And then as umbrella, as garments, as ornaments, as sitting places. So everything, Balaram has literally taken over the services, and then completely he is serving the Supreme Lord. So that is why Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that he is the representation of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the representation of Balaram, and spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, bona fide Acharya, he is the representation of Balaram and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Because anything that we have to serve, that has to go through them only. Because in today's, our present condition, we cannot serve directly the Supreme Lord. So that is why Balaram and Nityananda Prabhu and the bona fide spiritual master, they become like a transparent via media, and they receive our services, and actually they offer it to the Supreme Lord. So whatever we are lacking in our services to Krishna, the Supreme Lord, they actually, the deficiency, they provide, and then they offer the complete service. So Balaram is very much attached. Now we would wonder why Balaram was actually elder brother of Krishna, isn't it? So, but still he serves Krishna always. Why? And he was not the king of Dwaraka, whereas Krishna was the king, although he was younger to Balaram. So to know that, we have to go to the previous incarnation, as Lord Ramachandra and Lord Lakshmana. They had incarnated. And then, if you see the pastime there, because Lakshman was junior, younger brother of Lord Ramachandra, so he had to execute Lord Rama's orders. And Lord Rama was known as Maryada Purushottam. So he was actually Supreme Lord exhibiting qualities to the extreme degrees. So for example, just like his father said, you have to go to the forest for 14 years. Just in the previous night, on the day before his coronation, he was supposed to be declared as the king of Ayodhya. He immediately executed that. But Lakshman was opposing that time also. And then we see entire Ramayana, see Valmiki, he explains so elaborately. And then once all this warfare with Ravana happens, Ravana gets killed. And when Sita had to wait for so long, and when Sita Devi comes back, Ravana is killed, and then Sita Devi was so happy that she will be able to stay with Lord Ramachandra. But Lord Ramachandra says, no, because you have to prove your chastity now. So you have to enter the fire pyre, and then Agni should actually give a testimony for your purity, because you are staying for so long in someone else's place. So Mother Sita gets so hurt, and actually even more than Mother Sita, Lakshman gets so much hurt. And then he says, okay, he was the person who was setting the fire, and then Mother Sita had to enter it, and then Agni Deva, he comes, brings back Sita. She says she is pure, she is the mother of the universe, and then Lord Ramachandra accepts. And after that also, then someone was commenting on Lord Ramachandra, one of the citizens, that I'm not like Ramachandra, even though wife had gone for so long, I will accept her and I keep her in my house. So these kind of comments were there. So Lord Ramachandra's desire was to maintain the highest standards and to give very clear-cut protection, not only to his citizens, not only to his wife, Lakshman, everything, but to set a standard, Maryada Purushottam. So just to avoid such comments being made in the future, he says that you have to, take Mother Sita. So he instructs Lakshman, and you have to live in the sage Valmiki's ashram. And at that time, Mother Sita was, carrying Lava and Kush. And in such a situation, Lakshmana had to drive her, drop her, leave in that sage's ashram and come back. And then that's how, Lakshmana was always thinking, why I have to, why am I in such situation? So I have to execute Lord Ramachandra's orders, which is very, very painful. Although I know, but I cannot disobey, because he's elder brother. So, so he says, in the future incarnation, I am not going to be your younger brother. I am going to be your elder brother only, so that whatever your orders could be, if I like, I will execute it. Otherwise, I have the right to disregard it. So that's how in the next incarnation, in Krishna and Balaram, actually he becomes, Balaramji becomes elder brother. and Nityananda Prabhu also, the incarnation of Lord Balaram. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we could see similar pastimes. They were enacting pastimes of Rama and Mahabharata, so like that. So coming back, so similar situation what exists today in this material world, very warfare, horrible situation because of improper rulers and heavy military strength, accumulation of unnecessary military strength, these weapons and all that. So long back, Mother Earth had taken the shape of a cow, and she had approached Lord Brahma, and then Brahma, being the supreme in charge of this universe, so he is the predominating deity of this universe, he had to maintain the law and order. So he asks, what is your problem? So Mother Earth says that because of so many unruly Kshatriyas, kings, and the Brahmanas, they are not able to execute their duties properly. So I am in such distressed condition, please help me out. So then Brahma also becomes, what should we do now? We should consult the Supreme Lord. So he and Lord Shiva and all the other devatas, they all go to the Kshira Sagara, ocean of milk. In this universe itself, Prabhupada explains in the 10th canto that there is a place called Shvetadvipa planet, where Lord Kshirodakshai Vishnu is there, and they offer prayers, specifically Purusha Sukta prayers, and then still there was no response from the Supreme Lord. And then Brahma actually starts meditating, and then that's how Bhagavatam also it is said in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikave. So in the heart of Lord Brahma, Supreme Lord Krishna gives this particular message, and then later on this message was narrated by Lord Brahma to all the other devatas. So what was that message? That message was, Lord Krishna said, Kshirodakshai Vishnu said, I am going to very soon incarnate, I am going to descend in my original form as Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, two-handed form, and I am going to save the situation from unnecessary these demoniac kings like Kamsa, and then I am going to protect my devotees. So that's how Bhagavad Gita also it is Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dashkratam dharma samsthapanartha, to re-establish the principles of religion and have various pastimes. So Prabhupada says the speciality about Krishna and Balaram's incarnation is that although there are so many unlimited incarnations like waves of ocean, predominantly Dashavataras, but in all other incarnations Lord has got a specific role. So what is the specific role of incarnations such as Balaram and Krishna is they have wonderful pastimes with intimate pastimes with their beloved devotees, like we saw in Vrindavan and Mathura, Dwarka. Everywhere, wherever Krishna Balaram are there, they had given the souls this opportunity. So that is why, that is the reason we celebrate these festivals like Janmashtami, appearance days of the Supreme Lord, different days. So that Prabhupada gives example, what is one of the reasons of appearance of the Supreme Lord is, to give this particular opportunity for us so that we get attached, we get attracted by seeing their pastimes, by hearing their pastimes. And then we also develop that desire to go back to the spiritual world, to continuously have this association with them. So Prabhupada also gives example, this appearance days of Lords is like appearance of sun. So today a sun has appeared at a particular time at this particular place. And then finally sunset happens. So it doesn't mean that sun has altogether disappeared. He has actually just disappeared from our vision. So it is called Nitya Leela. So just like sun is always existing, always in 24 hours. But for some people, he is giving heat and light for some time. So similarly, Lord is Nitya Leela. He is always existing, or his pastimes are going on always in one of the universes, one of the planets. But for us, at least once in a year, we have to take this opportunity and celebrate different Lord's incarnations, different Lord's pastimes. So that is one thing. And then Lord descends in his original spiritual body. Although he comes down, he does not take, he is not forced like we are all forced to take in a particular family, take birth in a particular place, in a particular city, country, like that. So Lord chooses his parents. So Lord had actually had already chosen who would be my parents, and then out of his own sweet free will, he actually descends to this material world to relieve the situation and then to remind all the conditioned souls, so that we all get attracted by his pastimes and we all actually develop that desire to go back to the spiritual world. This is one of the reasons Prabhupada says. And then Krishna himself says the quality of his birth. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti soajana. So Krishna's birth, Krishna's activities, Krishna's pastimes are all transcendental, divyam. And just by we hearing to them, we listening to them, trying to develop interest in them and trying to follow the principles given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, we will also go back to home, back to God. We will not have to take up this body again. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. We don't have to again take punarjanma in this material world, which is certified as dukkhalayam and ashashvatam. So that is why this is the situation. So coming back to our pastime where Lord Krishna, so this was the situation, and when Brahma narrates this, all the devatas become very happy, and also Krishna gives specifically instruction that all the devatas along with their associates, their wives and all, they should start taking birth in the Yadu family, Yadu dynasty, which was already existing on the earth. And then Kamsa's atrocities was so much that Yadus, they were actually very fearful. Always they were fearful. Anytime Kamsa may attack, Kamsa may kill them, they were trying to, getting disturbed by Kamsa always. So, but because Lord promised this, Brahma narrated this, everybody became very happy. Mother Earth returns. And then, so that's how the thing is. And then Kamsa, actually what happens, he was a son of Ugrasena. And Vasudeva was the son of Shurasena. And Shurasena was ruling the tract of land called Mathura. And then Mathura was the place where Krishna was supposed to take his birth. And then Krishna decides that, I will be having my parents as Vasudeva and Devaki. And then we all know how Devaki gets married, and then Kamsa was riding, the chariot of Vasudeva and Devaki. And then suddenly one Ashariravani, an omen from the sky, speaks that the 8th son of Devaki and Vasudeva would kill. So you foolish person, you are actually driving their chariot. So moment Kamsa hears this, he gets very, very angry. He was about to kill Devaki. But somehow Vasudeva manages the situation and he promises that every child that is born, I will hand it over to you, and you have only fear of 8th child as per even this prediction. So you don't have to worry. So we will, if you kill at this auspicious hour, your fame, name, everything will get, wiped off, and then people will, try to, curse you. People will, defame you. So then somehow Kamsa gets convinced, and then he leaves them, but he gets them arrested, puts them behind the bars. And then one by one children, is born. First child is born. Kamsa kills second child. Like that, 6 children. So Prabhupada also mentions that Devaki, actually Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is the reference Prabhupada is quoting in that purport. So 6 demons, actually they were sons of Maricha, because those 6 people, they had laughed at Brahma, they had disrespected Brahma. So they were cursed to be born as the sons of demon. So what had happened, so Kalanemi, in the previous birth of Kamsa was known by the name demon Kalanemi, and he was killed by Vishnu. And so the curse was that they will take birth in the womb of Mother Devaki, but they will all be killed by Kamsa immediately after their birth. So that's how 6 people were killed. And then the 7th child was actually Balaram's incarnation. So then Lord instructs that, Yogamaya, you make this situation, you make arrangements so that Balaramji will be transferred from Mother Devaki's womb to Mother Rohini, because Rohini was also one of the wives of Vasudeva. Because of fear of Kamsa, she was staying in Gokula. And then because Balramji was transferred from Rohini, from Mother Devaki's womb to Rohini, he also gets the name of Sankarshana. And then that's how Lord Balram actually becomes, he is the son of Rohini. So Rohini Nandana, we address him. And then Krishna says, now he instructs Yogamaya one more thing, that I myself with my full opulences, I am going to next take the shelter of Mother Devaki's womb, and then I will descend with my full opulences. So Prabhupada mentions, so 6 these children, they were cursed, they were killed, and then Balaramji had taken shelter. He prepares a situation where Lord could easily come. Lord could come, and he prepares the situation for the Lord. He makes arrangements for Lord's appearance. So similarly in our heart also, if we have to have Krishna always in our hearts, so these 6 enemies called Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya, these things have to be first killed, and then we have to take shelter of Lord Balram, and then Krishna will actually happily reside there. So that's how, yes, I'll take a few more minutes. And then Lord Balramji makes his appearance in Gokula directly, and then Yogamaya also takes birth in the Gokula, and then Vasudeva, actually the birth of Krishna is not like any ordinary birth, right? So Vasudeva becomes completely situated in Vasudeva platform. That's why the platform known as Vasudeva is on the Shuddha Sattva platform, even above the mode of goodness. So when he is completely meditating on the Supreme Lord, and because previously they were known as Prishni and Sutapa, Lord Krishna says to them that you were my parents in the previous birth also. That time you were known as Prishni Sutapa, and then in the next birth, Vamana's parents, Aditi and Kashyapa. So this is going to be your third, opportunity to have me as your son, because you had prayed for it, you had done a lot of tapasya, and this is going to be your final birth. So Vasudeva meditates and all that, and then that through that tejas, that from the mind of Vasudeva, Krishna was actually, he takes shelter of Mother Devaki, and from there he actually takes shelter of Mother Devaki's womb. And then we see how different devatas, they come and they offer prayers, try to console Devaki, because Devaki was very, very fearful whether Kamsa would come and kill this child also, because 6 children she has already lost. So but then Lord gives assurance, devatas give assurance, and then what happens? We see Krishna takes birth in his 4-handed form, fully dressed, fully ornamented. And Krishna, after taking his birth, he assures that now you have to transfer me to Gokula, and then rest of the things will be taken care. And elaborate, very beautifully Prabhupada explains in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, first 4 chapters, advent of Lord Krishna. And because of shortage of time, we will have to rush through. And so Krishna and Balaram, their pastimes are so amazing that just by hearing to them, we will get attached to them. So that is why it is said that these qualities, because of these qualities, demonic qualities, Kali is able to spread his influence very easily. So on the other hand, in the 13th chapter, Krishna says, what are the other qualities? By developing, we will be completely out of the influence of Kali and Maya, is Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Rajam. So 20 items of knowledge Krishna lists out. So is Amanitvam. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna. I have to be humbler than the blade of grass and tolerant than the tree, and only in that situation I can very easily chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we come in direct touch with Krishna, personally Krishna and Balaram, and all the spiritual potencies, we get protection from. So otherwise, if in today's verse we see, like this inexperienced Brahmana boy Shringi, although he had little Brahma Tejas, he had little known facts that Krishna is our maintainer, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is the Supreme Ruler, even by having such basic things, he had such great power. But because he had pride, he was proud of his Brahma Tejas, Brahminical quality, he actually misused that. He came under the influence of Kali, and he did a great disservice of cursing Parikshit Maharaj. Of course, that was a special incident, but just to show that, if anyone who comes under the influence of Kali, he will only harm himself and harm others also. So this pride Lord does not like. So that is why in other pastime also, where Romaharshana Sutta, when Lord Balramji was visiting different places because he did not want to take part in Mahabharata war, so he visited the Naimisharanya forest where the sages were conducting 1000-year sacrifice. And then the sages, they had chosen Romaharshana Sutta as the chief amongst them, and he was narrating the Puranas, the pastimes of the Lord. But when Lord Balaram entered, when everybody else stood up, they offered their prayers, this Romaharshana Sutta also, similar to, Shringi, he was thinking he is superior because he was sitting on a Vyasasana. He is superior even to Lord Balaram, and he did not think fit to get up, stand up and offer prayers to the Supreme Lord Balaram himself. So Prabhupada mentions that even though vast learning, he was a disciple of Srila Vyasadeva himself, if humility is not there, it is like jewel on the hood of the snake. The jewel may be very nice, the knowledge may be very nice, the panditya may be very nice, but if that does not create humility in us, instead if it creates pride, then that is like a jewel on the snake of the head. So basically on the hood of the snake, although the jewel is very beautiful, the snake remains very dangerous. So similarly, the soul cannot take the benefit of the knowledge of the vast Vedic scriptures if we are not humble. If we are proud, then that leads to our downfall. So that is why Romaharshana Sutta was punished by Lord Balaram. Just he takes the kusha grass and then he cuts off his head. And then because he was already blessed by all the sages, so sages say that, my Lord, you have done a mistake. We had given him long life, all benedictions, strength of his senses and all that. So then Balaram says that if you want to, if you wish that Romaharshana Sutta should continue, then I can take back my action and I can actually make this person come alive. So that is the potency of the Supreme Lord. He can undo and do anything. That is why one should not imitate. So in today's verse, so this Shringi, he says that I want to take the place of Lord Krishna because Krishna has already departed. I want to take his position and then I want to punish myself. So this is actually imitation. So nobody can take the position of the Lord because Lord, what he can do, he can undo also. So but sages said, since it is your desire, you actually please think of a solution befitting your position, wherein you are also happy punishing this Romaharshana Sutta because he insulted you, and your purpose was to teach general public to how to follow proper etiquettes of the Vedic scriptures. But at the same time, our blessings also should not go in vain. So this only Lord can achieve all these things in one shot. So he said, because son is representation of the father in a sense. So Romaharshana Sutta's son, Ugrashrava Sutta, who is known as Suta Goswami. So he was chosen, and then Suta Goswami actually speaks to the sages of Naimisharanya. That's how, because he had heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami personally along with Parikshit Maharaj, and then he narrates this entire pastime. So it is not about, although they belong to a Suta caste, because they were from Suta, they were not Brahmanas, he was actually chosen. So Suta Goswami addresses Dvija Bandhus, the Dvija Shreshtas are there. But still I have been chosen, I have been given this responsibility of speaking Srimad Bhagavatam because of the qualification, because of the sanction of the Supreme Lord. Balaram chose him. So without this sanction, nobody can take the position of Krishna. Just like some people, they take the position of Guru also. That is also same thing. Without the proper authorization from the previous Acharya. So only one person can authorize the next disciple to become the next Guru. If that person is not authorized, if that previous predecessor Acharya has not authorized the current person, there is no question that this person will authorize more persons, because he himself is not authorized. So Balaram authorized Suta Goswami. That is why he was, although belonged to the Suta, in a sense Shudra class, but he was actually speaking, he was considered respected by all the best of the Brahmanas. And in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time also we saw how Digvijay Pandit, because he was very proud, he was also punished by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So again and again, Lord wants to show through his various pastimes, various activities, that no matter how much you have learning, how much you have skills, talents, everything, Lord does not want you to be proud. Lord wants us to be humble. That is why Bhagavad Gita's last instruction is Sarva dharmam prityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaisha vimashucha. So I will give you all protection, I will give you good counseling, provided you don't become puffed up, you surrender to me, you listen to me, you follow my instructions. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, how in the discussion of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, although he was such a learned person, he blessed him in the end because he became humble. He took the position of humble disciple, and he heard from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was so learned. So that's how he gets the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gives him pure devotional service. So then finally, Prabhupada also was actually, he was an embodiment, he was the pure devotee Acharya, and then he was exhibiting by his own example all these spiritual concepts, the knowledge that is being spoken on in Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita and so on. So once Srila Prabhupada was, he just landed in the airport. So one reporter asked him, why do you Swamijis travel in plane? So he was popularly known as Jet Swami because Prabhupada was so busy, he was traveling 14 times the entire globe. He was busy in preaching, meeting people and all that, expanding temples, so like that, fully busy. So this person gets annoyed. Probably he didn't travel by plane or international flights or whatever. So he gets annoyed and he said, why do you travel by flight? So Prabhupada, out of compassion, because Prabhupada knows in what sense he's asking. He's asking not out of humility, but because he's asking out of pride, his reply also was very great. So Prabhupada said, all of you are actually traveling in plane and going so fast to hell. You are rushing to hell. So if I have to save you all, I cannot follow you in bullock cart. So I also have to travel with that speed and I have to save you. And then Prabhupada realizes that this person got nicely hit because Prabhupada was a pure devotee, out of compassion he spoke. He did not take it as an offense, but he appreciated Prabhupada's wit and humor. And then Prabhupada says that, yes, not only that, actually we are the only person supposed to use planes in fact. You are not supposed to use that because karma is binding you by using all these facilities which was supposed to be used in Krishna's service. So Prabhupada mentions that, so because we know how to use everything in Krishna's Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagya Mrishate. So we don't get entangled in that, but even the manufacturer of the plane, that entire setup, all are getting mercy just because devotees are traveling. That is what Prabhupada says. But then Prabhupada also, his reply was like this. Prabhupada's composition, next week we start singing that Jaladuta song, one of the songs composed by Prabhupada when he just reached Boston. Baro Kripa, that song. So there he says that Bhakti nahi Vedanahi Name Kubudharo. So although he was so scholarly, he had completed translating 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam and so many, he was given the title Bhaktivedanta. But still Prabhupada is considering, I don't have bhakti, I don't have knowledge of the Supreme Lord, but I have faith in one particular thing. And what is that? Name Kubudharo. I have the faith in the holy name of the Lord. So this is what I was going on a mission, is what Prabhupada says. And that is why, so all over the place, we see that, this again and again, Lord is trying to teach us to be humble, to develop this quality of humility, so that we properly will be in a frame of mind to understand Prabhupada's instruction, pure devotee's instruction, Lord's instructions, which are demonstrated throughout these Vedic scriptures. And then in the next chapter also we see that how Parikshit Maharaj gets cursed, and then appearance of Shukadeva Goswami happens, and then he starts narrating and creation. So main topics of Srimad Bhagavatam is Atra Sarga Visargascha, so like the Sthanam Poshane Mutaya, Ishanu Katha, Manvantara, Avataras, and then finally is Ashraya. The 10th canto is the Ashraya. Even 11th and 12th canto, because 12th canto again comes back where it started. Srimad Bhagavatam starts with the Kali Yuga, the continuation of Mahabharata, and it ends with predictions about Kali Yuga. So, but the 10th canto is the essence, wherein all the pastimes of the Lord, different pastimes of the Lord, especially Krishna's, Balaram's, are described. We have to go through that, which mercifully Prabhupada has given us in the form of Krishna book. So this Krishna book is very, very important, and let us pray to Srila Prabhupada that we also develop all the qualities that is expected out of us, and then we make best use of this material world, best use of the bad bargain, and then we go back to home, back to Godhead. So let's stop here. If anyone has any question, one question we'll take for 2 minutes. Yeah. Their own question.
Hello. Sir, you said about that Lord Vishnu was born to Krishni and Sutapa as Prushni Garbha. Then he was born as Vamana, Rama, Krishna.
Yes.
So we know about the achievements of Rama, Krishna and Vamana. What did Prushni Garbha do?
Yes, so basically Prishni Garbha, if you see Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, so Lord appeared and there he is addressed as Prishni Garbha. So it's one of the eternal forms specifically to protect his devotees. Specific details I will also have to check because I don't right now remember. But specifically he actually blessed Dhruva Maharaj, and then after the Lord touched his conch shell to Dhruva Maharaj became enlightened because he was a very small boy. He was bewildered, he could not offer prayers to Lord and all that. So when Lord touched him, blessed him, he actually started offering those wonderful prayers, the essence of which is Sthanabhilasham tapasi stitoham Sthanabhilashi. So basically I was seeking for material happiness, opulences, even greater than my father and grandfather, Lord Brahma. So but then I understood that by having your darshan, by having you personally, so that is the greatest benediction. I was looking for kachan vichinvan apidivya ratnam. I was looking for broken glass pieces, but after having obtained you, I have obtained the most invaluable gems. Swamin kritartosmi varam na yache. So I don't want anything. This is what actually Dhruva Maharaj said. So specifically Prishni Garbha also will have more pastimes, we'll have to check. But this is one of the eternal forms, multiple times Lord takes up different forms with specific purpose. And then one such instance was, blessing Dhruva Maharaj. He gave darshan to Dhruva Maharaj. Okay, so we'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Nitai Gaur Premanand.